cars are rarely as crucial to their makers or buyers as this E-Class model is to Mercedes. This full-sized executive segment contender is the backbone of the German company's range and a perennial favourite of the corporate car park. This 6th generation W214 series model retains a sensible side, but dials up the desirability, aiming to offer a smarter, more prestigious approach to executive class motoring than close competitors. It does so with more efficient engines, cutting-edge drive technology and comfort that makes you question the need for a larger luxury saloon. Arch rivals from Audi and BMW still have quite a benchmark to aim at.
This 6th generation E-Class offers a selection of combustion power plants, defiantly still including 2 formats well out of industry favour, diesels and a diesel PHEV. We're actually trying a diesel here, the 197 horsepower 2 litre 4-cylinder E220D, which, like all mainstream E-Class engines, is a 48 volt mild hybrid and gets offered in the UK only in conventional rear driven form. Throughout this test, this unit served to remind us just what a good fit a great diesel still is on a car like this, wafting around on 440 newton meters of torque and easing through the perfectly spaced ratios of the smooth shifting 9-speed auto that all variants of this car must have. There's the usual set of dynamic select drive modes, and in sport, the most urgent of these, 62 miles an hour, is 7.6 seconds away en route to 148 miles an hour. If you want an E-Class diesel with the brand's now improved 4MATIC all-wheel drive system, as towers might, you'll need the 6-cylinder 3 litre E450D 4MATIC. This makes 62 miles an hour in 4.8 seconds en route to 155 miles an hour, and more significantly has 750 newton meters of torque, more effortlessly delivering the 2,100 kilogram braked towing weight that all variants of this car share. The other mainstream E-Class engine is petrol-powered, the entry-level 204 horsepower 2 litre 4-cylinder unit found in the base E200 model. On paper, it's fractionally faster than the equivalent diesel, 62 miles an hour in 7.5 seconds and 149 miles an hour, but in reality feels quite a lot slower thanks to 120 newton meters less pulling power. That won't be in short supply if you opt for one of the PHEVs. There are 2. The petrol E300E and, as mentioned earlier, unusually, a diesel PHEV too, the E300DE. They're based on the 2 litre petrol and diesel units we've just briefed you on, but add a 125 horsepower electric motor to the mix, energised by the 25.4 kilowatt hour battery, capable of nearly 70 miles of EV range. Total system output in each case is 313 horsepower, and 0 to 62 miles an hour in either model takes 6.4 seconds on the way to a maximum of around 146 miles an hour. We can't help thinking right now that for most executives, most of the time, an E-Class plug-in hybrid is a better all-round confection than the brand's equivalent all-electric EQE saloon. And the PHEV E-Class also has the advantage that it can be ordered as an estate, which is a body shape you might want for reasons other than carriage capacity. Unlike the E-Class saloon, the station wagon version comes with rear air suspension as standard, which you'll appreciate because, rather unwisely, Mercedes decided that in standard form, the E-Class should come with quite a firmly suspended sport version of its agility control suspension. And to be frank, despite built-in selective damping, that doesn't deliver the kind of floaty, cosseting ride this Mercedes ought to have. To address that oversight, it's necessary to add the expensive optional refinement package that's been fitted to this test car, standard fit only on the E450D. With this, you get all-round AirMatic air suspension and full adaptive damping with automatic level control, all enough to restore the magic carpet-like ride you'd want this car to have. With the refinement package, Mercedes also throws in its latest rear axle steering system, which turns the rear wheels by up to 4.5 degrees, adding extra cornering stability at speed and when manoeuvring, reducing the turning circle by up to 900 millimeters. Though it's not our focus here, we should also say a few words about the only E-Class variant we haven't yet mentioned, the Mercedes AMG E53 Hybrid 4MATIC Plus. In one hit, this replaces two W213 era AMG models, the previous E53, a mild hybrid, and the classic E63, a wildly powerful V8. Instead, for this W214 era E53, there's a 6-cylinder, 3-litre petrol PHEV drivetrain, which uses a 21.2 kilowatt-hour battery, energising a 163 horsepower electric motor, sandwiched between the engine and the AMG Speed Shift TCT 9G auto gearbox. Total system output is 569 horsepower, 158 horsepower down on the G90 era BMW M5. Stuttgart wants this top variant to compete with, also now a PHEV. Though the 3.8 second 0 to 62 mile an hour time of the Mercedes is just 0.3 seconds slower than that, and it goes considerably further, up to 60 miles on battery power. Design chief Gordon Wagner describes this W124 series E Class as the business icon of Mercedes Benz, something you don't mess with, hence an evolutionary take on the sensual purity styling theme already established in current versions of the C Class and S Class. As a result, it's a more conventional take on what a full-sized executive segment saloon should be than its BMW 5 Series and Audi A6 arch rivals. In profile, what Mercedes calls a cab backwards silhouette is slightly larger than before, with 4,949mm of length and 1,468mm of height in this saloon form. Plus, its 0.23 CD drag coefficient is slightly sleeker, helped by these retracting door handles. At the front, there are slim, high-performance LED headlamps, which can, as here, be fitted out with piercing digital light beams divided into 1.3 million pixels. A black panel-like surface connects them to the newly illuminated three-dimensional grille, with its central logo set amongst a forest of twinkling stars. For this saloon model, there's a lovely swept-back, almost coupe-like rear end, where the two-section LED tail lamps, like those at the front, have become narrower and get a three-pointed star illuminating signature. Once inside, the promised digital experience continues, or at least it will do if you've stretched to a version like this one, with the brand's Superscreen dash. Unlike with the hyperscreen layouts we've tried in the brand's top EQ saloons, which gives you one continuous screen across the dashboard, here just the central and passenger side screens are seamlessly integrated together, with this 12.3-inch instrument cluster display kept separate. The other thing that strikes you fairly soon after getting in is that after years of falling standards with build quality, this 6th generation design finally seems to exhibit the kind of bulletproof build quality we once associated with E-Class models of old. Everything feels solid. The doors clunk shut, nearly all the materials used feel lovely to the touch, and you're surrounded by a slim ambient lighting strip that in its upgraded active form can proactively prompt you on major functions. This stretches along the bottom of the windscreen round into the doors with their intricately crafted Burmester speaker grills. The centre console's high, so you feel quite cocooned at the wheel, and as you'd want from a Mercedes, the seats are cosseting and supportive, nor are you forced to have them in nasty synthetic leather. Not so good are the twin-level horizontal spokes of the grippy sports steering wheel with their irritatingly fiddly, touch-sensitive buttons. Now, with a generous 2,961mm of wheelbase length this time round, you'd expect plenty of rear passenger space, so let's take a look. That extension to this W124 era design frees up a couple of extra millimetres back here for legroom, but of course there's nothing like as much space for your legs and knees as is allowed for by the full EV platform in the brand's alternative all-electric EQE saloon. This E-Class also has another issue you don't have to deal with in that EV model, this high centre tunnel, which makes carriage of a centrally placed adult more difficult than it should be in a full executive segment saloon or estate of this sort. Headroom's fine and not too restricted by the twin-pane panoramic roof you get in plusher models, but it's better in the estate version, which gets 50mm more headspace than this saloon. At the rear, this gesture-controlled power-operated boot lid rises to reveal a space that'll be 540 litres in size with conventionally engined models like this one. That's 20 litres more than a BMW 5 Series and 48 litres more than you get in an Audi A6. But the Mercedes packaging is nothing like as good if you choose a variant with the PHEV drivetrain, which eats up a massive 170 litres of space, mainly in load area height, dropping capacity to just 370 litres, way behind equivalent versions of the two rival models just mentioned. The E Class estate has always been the cargo capacity class leader, and despite a 25 litre drop in capacity this time round, still is offering 615 litres of space in conventional form or 460 with the PHEV versions. Overall, what's on offer here remains arguably the ultimate statement of technology and luxury in this part of the market, and possibly even a package good enough to leave you questioning the need to spend more on a larger S-Class model. The best or nothing was the slogan that Mercedes founder Gottlieb Daimler lived by. If it's yours too, then we think you'll like this car.